then there is no point of keeping the information. Nowadays, before information was securing the information was only concerned with only the information team, like information IT team, but it's not so. Now it's the responsibility of the senior level members and the manager, so they take into information. So yesterday we did study about the IT framework. Okay, we studied about the IT framework where we saw the various five keys were there. So here the senior management is there, which take care of all the IT enterprise application and the business policies. They take care of it. So after basically, what does governance means? From the first class, I am just telling you the definition. It means taking the responsibility, having authority, and communicating to empower the people. So this ensuring the security is now the responsibility of the senior management. Okay, since IT governance, it is tied up with the IT framework. So the IT framework we are talking about the last day's class, okay, whichever we study. So information security is like being an intrinsic part of the enterprise and the IT governance. That is now the broad management will now hold the responsibility to integrate it with the existing processes that govern the organizational resources. So information security is basically a subset. Last day also in the we saw this diagram, right? This information security falls in this IT governance part. IT governance, which is a subset of the entire and this enterprise governance. So it will assure that all the risks are mitigated, then resource usage is optimal, then monitors basically the success of this enterprise governance, because ultimately every organization has a one goal, right? That is to work for the benefit to uplift the organization. So every team works for that main objective, for that main object. So this information, let me get okay. So okay, this information security governance basically consists of risk management policy, then detailed strategy, okay, of the services that is associated with the business, then organizational structure, then security plan, then various security policies are there, or also the monitoring process they must be keeping track of everything. You can see what does the senior management consist of. It's a steering committee. There will be a monitoring committee, then this will be their executive management is there, then we have the business strategy. So business strategy, the how the risk will be evaluated, then if the risk we have found the risk, then how it can be mitigated, and various actions and policies are also decided. So obviously these are the organized, this becomes the this before security was main concern for the information security team only, but now it has become, because it is a very, as I told, gave a proverb, information is business. So it you should know how to store the information, where it is stored, how it is stored. So every member, the senior level members are also should be aware of it, management should be aware of it. Okay, so every implementation, so these things are very important. Okay, so now these information requirements are basically the outcome of the risk management activity, obviously. So this security requirements along with the current state in the enterprise will serve as the input to the security planning phase. So resource availability and the constraints, all other things are falls under the strategy planning. Next, there are various benefits of this information security governance. So if you have a proper information security governance, then obviously it will provide a good governance. Good governance. So what does this governance mean? That it will have a good management, a good response authority of the managers of what higher people, what lower people are doing. So they have a better share prices. Okay, so obviously by reducing the information security related risk, you can be very certain about the outcome of your business processes. Okay, so very, if you if there are risks, then your obviously your share prices also drops, right? Next, obviously if there are proper governance, unnecessary hassles will be not there. Okay, then presence of information security also is there, it makes best use of the limited security and resources available. Then it ensures the presence of an appropriate adequate information security policy is also there, because too much policies, there will be a problem for the developers also to implement, because it's the IT team who develop it, right? So there, if there is too much governance policies are there, then it's also a difficulty. But it's the governance stage that makes an organization or breaks an organization. So basically, it ensures the presence of an appropriate and adequate information security policy. Okay. Next, this benefits basically adds the improve the customer relationship also credentials. Then it protects the organization's reputation, obviously. Then this obviously, if you have some set of rules are there, rules are mentioned there, then the privacy policies are also managed. Then obviously it provides greater conviction when communication is done with the other partners, because when we have a large organization, they have various tie-ups. So they are known as the tie-ups, right? Like in your educational institution also, we have very tie-ups with like companies, then other institutes, maybe like in foreign, okay, foreign institutes also, so that you can pursue in course, like half course you do in this college and other can be like tie-up colleges are also there. So in that case, it's improve the communication. Next we have the, like, it will obviously increase the electronic transaction processing also, and it will lastly improve, like minimize the operational cost. So these are the benefits, add-on benefits of the information security governance. So moving next to the best practices for IT governance. Okay, so we have these factors. First is the transparency. So thing is that whatever is going on in the organization must be transparent to everyone. In that case, if no information is hidden with the members of the organization, then like the members also get the motivation to work on the project and to work for the benefit of their organization. If the informations are hidden, they lost their like trust to the company. So they think, okay, let us just do the work it because it has been assigned to us. Then it should be actively designed also, because it needs to be the enhanced. So because adequate training, that for that purpose, to design it properly, adequate training is required. And that's why, for like going to any joining any company, a minimum qualification is required, right? So other you people need to be like go for being in an IT team, it's very much required. Oh, I'm sorry for the disturbance, and I have a 1-year-old niece, so that's what the problem is. Okay, so let me tell you that you need proper training for everything. So you need as limited education. So people from arts background, they cannot join the coding team until and unless they have some certain experience or certain degree in that. Okay, so you people being an MCA or some BTech people, they can join the coding team, because you people have, though you don't have the what knowledge the organization need, but you have a basic knowledge of everything, any programming language. So you people can join in it. Okay. 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 Next it
Ma'am,
will be. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. Next is infrequently redesign. So this IT governance policies must redesign an extremely difficult task involving that lots of man. I'm like, okay. Just really sorry for the like disturbance. Okay. So this lot of man hours, because when you design any policy, lot of hours are required, manpower is required. Like you, whenever you do your project also, you need to invest time in it. So if you like okay, someone is waiting. It's the participant here. So you require a lot of manpower also. So what happens is, yeah, so you need to design it like if you it's infrequently designed, like you should make sure that you don't have to frequently design it. Okay, you need to change. If you frequently change the policies, then you need to do it. And in that case, what happens? The cost also increases, because if you manpower, like if your resource, if you frequently design it, your work also increases every time. You need more resources for that one. Okay, so that will be a problem. So now education about IT governance. So as I said, that a training is also required for that purpose. Okay, so you need adequate education for it. So you need a technical education, maybe then proper experience is to be provided to all the basically to all the employees and all the managers to understand the use of the IT governance mechanism. So trained persons are more responsible and hence need to be more accountable to the decisions. Next, we have the simplicity. So obviously any policy you develop need to be a good enough. It must be simple and easily understandable by everyone, right? Next, exceptional handling. If there you studied in exceptional handling, I think in C++ also, here you find that if sometimes there must be some measures that must be thought of, like if some errors pop up in frequently, okay, so then what will be your step? So in that case, we should also go for this exception handling process. So we need to think about it. So designed at multiple organization levels. Next is designed at, so what does its multiple organizational levels is? So we should think like businesses. If we now you have start with one organization, but that needs grows, right? Like we have several companies, we have like IBM. So IBM is not limited to Bangalore alone. So it is there in various outside India also. It's in various parts of India. It's in Kolkata, it's Hyderabad, it's in Gurgaon, it's in then Noida also. So everything everywhere is there. So you need to think of that design according to the that it will be applicable to various organizations. Then aligned incentives. So if you are working so hard, so obviously the main problem for IT governance is that they don't pay you money. Okay, if you are working hard and they are just paying for you, okay, the paying, so that serves as a motivation for the employee, right? You are working hard, but you are not getting the money of money, then there would be no point. Suppose now you are a student, you are working, you are studying hard, but you are not getting the marks. The teacher like is like it's very miser in giving you marks, then you probably won't like, you say that okay, I have worked hard but I did not get my appropriate result. So then you people won't be happy. Similarly, as an employee, when we work hard, so we deserve, we need some money. And if we when we don't get the required amount as the required amount, and we put a hard work we put on, so then there will be a problem, so we won't get the motivational factor. Next is assign ownership and accountability. So it's very important for the manager to assign the responsibility to the employee, so that obviously if they trust the people and they assign the employee also, they feel okay, the manager has trusted me, so I should work. It serves as a motivation for the employee. But if the manager, no, I don't trust that people, I'll do it all by myself, then it is not feasible to complete the entire project by himself. And if you don't trust anyone, then motivation, then the employee also will think that okay, he did not give us the right to do anything, also let him do it and let him be responsible for everything. Next, there are some common techniques are also there. So you need to the implement that the key assets, maybe the financial assets, physical assets, then IT assets, relationship assets, all these are the falls under this common techniques. So they need to be taken care of. Okay, so this were about the best practices for the IT governance. So this all whatever I said is like you can just go through it through your SLM material. The explanation is well defined there, so you can just go through it once. And it, let me tell you, since it's a theoretical paper, don't mug up the things. You don't have to like line by line you study everything, you mug up and you commit and then you vomit in the exam. Just understand the thing, and just whatever you understood, you just write it in your paper. I'm not sure this time year whether MCQs will be held, or whether like you have to go for physical examination, or it will be through Google Drive. I'm not aware of it, but still it's for any theoretical paper, just a suggestion, just understand the thing. You don't have to go for rote learning. Okay, just understand whatever you understand, you learn. But obviously you can't write A, B, Z or etc. But you need to write proper, like if there is like a basic concept of it, you will get the marks. Okay, I know, because it's not easy to remember everything. And if you need to memorize, then no need to go for this degree only, MCA degree only. Then we can go for simple, school students do that, right? So I will just suggest that you please go, like, understand the thing and write it in your own words. Okay, next. Till this point, any confusion? See, I know, like, I'm going little bit fast because of the internet issue.
Ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone have issue?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So moving next, we are going for the strategic system development and project governance. Now, this strategic system development we have studied in this one, software engineering, SDLC, system development life cycle, or the software development life cycle. So we know that before this strategic system development pause, we come for the information system planning. Information system planning, and also we know that every organization, before in starting with the information system development, we all have a main objective, how the organization will work. Okay, every organization before starting, they have a mission and they have a business plan. So they have business strategy, so they have to come up with the organization strategic plan. Okay, then we move to all the study that software development life cycle model, whatever we studied, like the agile model was there, waterfall model was there. So all these things we study about it, right? So now let's go back. This basically, this starts with a basic view of understanding the what the company wants to achieve and how it is to be done. Basically starts with the system development. Obviously you have to think about the goal and how the action is to be done. Before going for any planning also, we need to think about it, right? How we should start it and what actions needs to be taken. So this is the most important aspect of system development, that is the system planning. Now we begin with a strategic plan of the company in over here. Okay, so now what does this strategic planning goes for? Like, is it is basically a set of long term goals, okay, which defines the IT architectures. Now there are, we have to go for this in this part. Okay, IT is strategic plan. We have to think about the feasibility study. I think, I hope you people remember about the feasibility study. There were what was feasibility study, whether it is feasible, and based on, there are 5 types, I guess: operational, economical, then resource, schedule, kind of feasibility. So we discussed on that, right, in your, like, I think you people know about it. Operational feasibility, whether your system will be operational or not, whether it will be simple to use or not. Then we have economic, whether it thinks of the cost. Okay, then we have resource, whether available resources are there or not. Then we have technical feasibility also. So all this feasibility will comes under this information security strategic plan. Next, we move to the new technology architecture. So this new technology architecture is nothing but we have like the different SDLC models. So waterfall models, where we go for the requirement gathering, we gather the information from the client. It's done by the higher level managers, and then the feasibility study is done by whom? The business analyst. After the business analyst done, their designers design the some kind of diagrams, maybe a class diagram, a UML diagrams, or the DFD or the ER diagrams, and then it gives it to the developers for go for like convert it into the source code, go for implementation part, right? After the developers have implemented, they test it, and then they go for verification, validation. They deploy it. So lots of things are involved. Either this is a concept of the waterfall model. Then that is a step by step procedure. But we also can go, nowadays this waterfall is not followed, we go for the agile software development, I think. Yeah, agile software development. So in agile software development, what happens is, for agile, it's very much required that your entire team is well trained and have good experience. Why? Because the customer and the developers, they sit, have a meeting, and whatever the client wants it, the whatever the way the client says it, everyone will be here, business analyst will, and what based on their understanding, they will develop it then and there and give their software to the client. So your software is ready, you just check it. Okay, so that is everything is done in front of the client only. Okay, if they will sit, maybe you just think of it in a round table, and then you will there all the gathering will be understood by the senior members, and then business analyst will analyze it, and then it will given to the designer. The designer will draw the diagrams, accordingly design the diagram, and then the coders will code it, and then testers will test it and give it to the deploy it to the client then and there. For that purpose, because the client is also involved, and like everything is a fast pace is going on, so it's very important that every member of the team is well trained and well experienced. That is known as the agile development. We already studied these things in the software engineering. And the last part, today we have the project governance. So project governance or development governance is basically a management framework that ensures that a project is well conceptualized and executed, okay, by taking the right decision. So it basically consists of three aspects: structure, people, information. So what does this structure basically means? It is the governance committee. So it may involve all the broad project board members, then the users, then all the developers, stakeholders, all falls under this structure. Okay, basically, so it's a there may be they decide a set of related projects. Okay, next we have the people. Now how efficiently will a company company work depends on the set of resources. By resources I mean the people. So if you want to start a startup, and you need at least for IT company, so you need well trained person, right? If you take, suppose you want to open a technical company, and if you take a person who have no technical knowledge, then it won't be a beneficial for you. So that's that for that purpose, how efficiently a company will work will totally depend on the people. So suppose I am here to teach you. Your organization have hired me to teach the students. Like I am someone from other background. Then there will be a confusion. There will be a problem. Okay, and the last one is the information. So basically it means the project reports. Okay, all reports, issues, risks, so that needs to be maintained by the project manager. Okay, because the manager hardly have some experience in the technical part. So this was all about the project governance. So till this point, any confusion? See, if you go through this one, you will understand. Nothing to explain in a technical part or something. More like a software engineering, maybe a little bit of just not software engineering also. It's too much we go for, but these are just the policies. Okay. Anyone has confusion? Please, if you
No, ma'am.
no, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Ritik, can you take the screenshot and share with me? Ritik is there, right? Ritik, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please share with me the screenshot, okay? And please, next class, I know we have it next week. So please go through this document. Everyone have it in your cracking. I'll ask you question in the next class. Okay? Please go through it. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Please take the screenshot. Ritik.
Yes, ma'am.